How long wilt thou forget me, O Lord, forever? How long wilt thou hide thy face from me? How long shall I take counsel in my soul, having sorrow in my heart daily? How long shall mine enemies be exalted over me? Consider and hear me, O Lord my God. Lighten mine eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death. Lest mine enemies say, I have prevailed against him, and those that trouble me rejoice when I am moved. But I have trusted in thy mercy. My heart shall rejoice in thy salvation. I will sing unto the Lord because he has dealt bountifully with me. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in this world. And welcome to another session with the Israelite Nations Worldwide Ministries. Wow, it is just such a joy to be here today. Most of you know that this is our holy month of Ethanim. And right now, we are feasting every single night. For 7 nights straight, we are feasting to the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And it's just so much joy, so much entertainment, so much unity, so much strength. Do you see what I'm saying? This is just an amazing time. And I hope if you're not already with us, that one day you too will experience the joy that I am talking about. I'm sure you've watched some of the videos that's been coming out earlier on in this month. And if you haven't, please do, because they are amazing. You will see the father-daughter duo, that's Elder Jeffrey and young Sarah. You will see Dr. Kurt with the young bear that had their session on last night. You will see our people coming together and talking about this doctrine, the thing that we love to do the best. And every one of them had one thing in common. There was unity, there was strength, there was one accord. So please take time out and watch it. And even last week, oh my goodness, it was such a phenomenon. We had our own CEC, our Elder Andel, who was up here with our very own Dr. Michael Hines, who is also here. Their lesson was really awesome, and it really broke down what Tabernacles is all about. Now, today, I'm going to take it in a slightly different direction, but we're still going to look at unity because it is important. Unity, strength, one accord. It is such an important and integral concept. But the funny thing is, it's not always done for good. Sometimes unity, strength, one accord is also done negatively. I want to look at both sides, but I want to focus more on one side, and then hopefully later on you'll hear from our wonderful priest Tyrone, who would come up and bless you with his words. I just want to make a point that once upon a time, and this was shortly after we were at the Accord Center, almost 30 years ago, that shortly after that, we moved to a building called the Accord Center. And it was given this name because we wanted to really focus on the unity of our nation, including the growth of it. This was back in 1997. And it's important, like I said, for me, strength comes, there's a proverb, I think it's a Ghanaian proverb that says that with one stick, you can take it and you can break it. But when you have many sticks, bind them together, you have a broom. You can't break it, it's hard to break. You can sweep whatever it is out of your way. So these are some of the things that we look at when we look at unity and strength and one accord. And if you read the scriptures, this Bible, this KJV version of the Bible, you will see unity and strength throughout the entire scriptures. And you will also notice that it's all about the relationship that we have with our Father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. For we are his children. And with that is the one accord. But unfortunately, it doesn't always happen the way we hope it to. So before we go into unity, let's look at some of the examples of disunity. Let's go back in history just a little bit. What does Gabrielle Prossa, Bentworth Ave, and Nat Turner have in common with Jesus the Christ? Now, I know that many of you out there are scholars, so you will know this. But I just want to give you just a little summation of each one of them, and then you'll get a feel for where I'm going. So Gabrielle Prossa, he was a 24-year-old blacksmith from Richmond, Virginia, and he organized a slave revolt during the time of August, which for us is Freedom Month. During this time, 1,000 slaves were gathered together to revolt. But like many biblical leaders, Gabriel's plot was doomed to failure because of two slaves. They learnt about his plan and they revealed his plan to their slave masters. Why did they do this? To receive a reward. The funny thing is, you laugh or not, the slaves did not receive their compensation. However, Gabriel, his two brothers, Solomon and Martin, and 23 other slaves were hanged. That's what happens when we turn against our own. And, our elder says this all the time, that those that betray you, your enemy, are always those that know you, that know who you are, that know how you operate, that know where you sleep. Those are the ones that you break bread with. And that's it's not a nice feeling. For myself, I never want to feel that way when I'm around my brethren and when I'm around my friends, that they could be the one to betray me. I don't want this in my head. I don't want to believe that, but it's the reality. This is the truth. Bentworth Ave. This was July 14, 1822. Now, Denmark was a slave who had won his freedom after winning the lottery, and this took place the same time during Gabriel's insurrection. But like Gabrielle, the conspiracy was uncovered by an overzealous slave, which gave the armed force plenty of time to move around the city and surround it. Now, within 30 days, 131 persons were arrested, 37 was executed, including Vasey himself, 43 were banished from the state or the country, and 48 whipped and discharged. And all of that, and they did not manage to set off one fire, one alarm, one gun, nothing. That's just tragic. That's really just tragic. Now, most of you will know Nat Turner, August 21st, 1831. And see again, August, I know this isn't August now, but now you see a lot of these things took place in the month of August, especially these insurrection. Now, Nat Turner was born into slavery in October the 2nd, 1800s. And this was just before Gabrielle Prossa was executed. Nat Turner was known as the prophet. And he claimed that God instructed him to rebel, and a sign came to him during the time of the new moon. So those that have been with us, you know the significance of the new moon. And if you don't, there's tons of videos, so please take a look at them. And if not, if you want to ask a question, please do not forget to click the link below, and somebody will be in touch with you. We will gladly explain to you what this means, and hopefully you would have a better understanding and would like to move forward with us. So like Prossa and Vasey, Turner was betrayed by two slaves who had stumbled on his hiding place. And after his capture, this was really terrible, he was hanged. This took place on November the 11th, 1831 in Jerusalem, Virginia. Then decapitated and skinned. And I even heard that people took his skin as souvenir. That's really disturbing and sick to me, so I don't even want to go there. But like these guys, man, this is just such a tragedy. like these guys, there have been many Jacobite leaders during the Civil War era that were also betrayed by their own. And I have to say it, that even our very own Elder Shadrach Porter has suffered his fair share of disloyalty and betrayal, not just from people that he knew, but people that he has helped. That is the worst. Someone that you've nurtured, you've brought up, and they've turned around and betrayed you like you were nothing. This is what we do to the man here. How much more have we done to our Father who's in heaven that we can't see? You'll see some of this when we go through our stories today, because we're going to have so much fun. And I think I love to explore the stories that people don't really talk much about, because there's so much meat there, and there's so much that we can get from it. So first of all, let's go to John 13. I don't want to just say it, I want you to read it. Let's read what the scriptures have to say about betrayal. It's a tough topic to talk about, but as I said before, we are in our holy month of Ethanim, and it is such an important month. We started off with the blowing of trumpets, and then we moved on to Day of Atonement, where we were able to atone for the sins that we've committed, for, to purge ourselves, and even to be aware of what the God of Israel, our Father, has done for us. And even to have, the humility to turn around and say, thank you for even bringing me to this point, and even pray that you will continue on with this nation, because this is our goal in life, to continue in this nation and teach the world about our Father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, because we do serve the greatest God. And when you understand this, then you too would appreciate the feast that he has for us, the statutes that he's given us, the laws that he's given us, just so that we can come together and serve him and worship him and have, be together and break bread and sing and tell, poetry and spoken words. It's such a beautiful family. It's about family, about unity, about oneness. This is what we aim for, but it doesn't always happen that way. But what I wanted to say is that, this is the month, and it's all about preparation, because what's going to happen? We are now going into the dark months. And if you listen to the lesson last night, you will hear what they are talking about, what happens during this time. Many of the animals are going into hibernation. But this is like the dark times. And remember, we are of the God of Israel. And because we are of the God of Israel, we have to understand in our self-confidence in who we believe. Because when we understand that, we know that we are going into darkness, but the darkness will not consume us. We are better than the darkness. We are the light. And I've said it many times, the light shines very bright. The darker it gets, the brighter we should be able to shine. But we have to know this, and that's why we have a whole month dedicated to celebrating our Father. A whole month. The holy month of Ethanim is our month that we can prepare ourselves to go out there and do battle, to win, to succeed. But you got to know it first, because it's so easy to forget where we are and to get lost and consumed in the things that go on out there. But at least you can reflect back to Ethanim, to atonement, to the times when you feasted with your brethren, when you break bread, when you laughed until you cried. This is what we want to do. So where was I? John 13. Let's start from 18. I speak not of you all. I know whom I have chosen. Now, just to give you a bit of backstory, we talk about Passover, and this is one of the books that shows you that Passover still exists. And this is Jesus the Christ during his last Passover among his disciples, his apostles, and they're having a conversation. So this is where we are right now. I speak not of you all. I know whom I have chosen. Wait for it. But that the scriptures may be fulfilled. He that eateth bread with me have lifted up his heel against me. I know, Now I tell you before it come, that when it is come to pass, ye may believe that I am he. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that receiveth whomsoever I send receiveth me, and he that receiveth me receiveth him that sent me. So Jesus the Christ is telling them that, if you've received me, right? If you receive me, he that sent me will receive him. And he would also receive you. Okay, so he's looking at his disciples and he's talking to them about the relationship between him and the Father. Again, the Father, the Son, the unity that we have here. When Jesus had thus said, he was troubled in the spirit and testified and said, Verily, verily, I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me. Now, I don't know about you, but imagine you are sitting there at the table. If you are the person that's going to be doing the betraying, what is going through your mind? And you're okay with that? Being, sitting there being called a betrayer? And it's you. What's going through your mind? And even if you flip the coin and you are the one being betrayed and how is that making you feel inside? Can you imagine the knots? When Jesus thus said, he was troubled in the spirit and testified and said, Verily, verily, I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me. Let's go to John 18. I want to be very specific because I've got a nice story lined up for you, and hopefully we'll get through that. But I just want to show you that, unfortunately, it doesn't end. And the one way that we can actually resolve the issue, is being aware of the potential for that issue to rise its head. So let's go to John 18, starting from 1. When Jesus had spoken these words, he went forth with his disciples over the brook Cedron, where there was a garden, into which he entered with his disciples. And Judas also, which betrayed him, so Judas also, which betrayed him, knew the place. As I said before, those that are often close to you are those that betray you. I hope that when Priest Tyrone comes up here, he will show you the good side of this, because this is very daunting, but it's not all bad. Trust me, it's not all bad. It's about awareness and understanding that these things happen. We need to know the good, the bad, the ugly, and the indifference. We need to understand that in order to move forward. And Judas also, which betrayed him, knew the place, for Jesus oftentimes resorted thither with his disciples. Judas then, having received a band of men and officers from the chief priests and Pharisees, came thither with lanterns and torches and weapons. So they're all gathering at this place where Jesus Christ often resort to. Jesus, therefore, knowing all things that should come upon him, went forth and said unto them, Whom seek ye? Who are you looking for? They answered him, Jesus of Nazareth. Jesus said unto them, I am he. And Judas also, which betrayed him, stood with them. So this guy who he broke bread with, who he, saw the miracles that he performed, who was with him, who, saw him cry, saw him do all the miracles, he's standing with those guys, betraying him, ready. As soon then as he had said unto them, I am he, they went backward and fell to the ground. His voice, his words had so much power that they were astonished and they fell backwards. Then asked he them again, Whom seek ye? And they said, Jesus of Nazareth. Jesus answered, I have told you that I am he. If therefore ye seek me, let these go their way, that the saying might be fulfilled which he spake, of them which thou gavest me have I lost none. And that goes back to his whole prayer, and you can read that back in John 17. Then Simon, having a sword, drew it and smote the high priest's servant and cut off his right ear. The servant's name is Malchus. Then Jesus said unto Peter, Put up thy sword into the sheath. The cup which my Father has given me, shall I not drink it? He's already made up his mind. This is how it's going to be. And as we know, the prophecy has to be fulfilled. So here we have the situation of the betrayal. So for those of you who guessed correctly, the three that I mentioned, yes, they all, Turner, Prossa, and Vasey, they all had the same in common with Jesus the Christ. They were all betrayed by someone close to them. But I want us to go to Numbers 16. And we're going to enjoy this story because it goes so deep. It covers the things that we speak about. It talks about the unity, the strength of the unity, the one accordness, the disunity, and what happens when you're following the God of Israel or when you decide that you are against him. So let's go to Numbers 16. And I hope you enjoyed this as much as I have been when I've been looking into this. Now Korah, the son of Izhar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, and Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and On, the son of Peleth, sons of Reuben, took men. And they rose up before Moses with certain of the children of Israel, 250 princes of the assembly, famous in the congregation, men of renown. Now let's stop a minute and set the stage. They are now in the wilderness. This is after leaving Egypt. Pharaoh's drowned. They've done a few things. Yes, they went and they built a calf. You know, God of Israel was very upset. Moses upset. He took down a calf, fed them all. People died. Okay. Laws were given, commandments were given, statutes were given, songs were sung. You know, they're in a wilderness. But among them, now remember, this is going on over a course of 40 years. So during this time, you have princes. Princes, they were able to identify men of renown, princes among the people. 250. Okay. And they gathered themselves together after all that I've just told you. And if you listen to the lesson last week, you would hear how the scene was set to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles. Such a beautiful thing where the God of Israel himself came and was with them, where the smoke and the clouds and everything was set. They experienced this. And they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron, and said unto them, You take too much upon you, seeing all the congregation, all of us, are holy, every one of them, and the Lord is among them. Wherefore then lift ye up yourself above the congregation of the Lord. What is going on, Israel? What's going on here? So these guys are going to Moses and Aaron, and it's like, out of nowhere, oh, who do you think you guys are? We're all holy people. This is some crazy thing that's going up, because I know that none of these guys went up to that mountain and faced the God of Israel, the thunder, the lightning. Oh my goodness, none of them did that. None of them fasted like he did. None of them. No, they're downstairs. They're just waiting for instructions. Now, all of a sudden, out of where, they rise themselves up and become very pompous and puffed up. And what did Moses do? And Moses heard it, and he fell upon his face. Whoa, he's probably not even expecting it. He's rushing here, making sure they're fed. They're getting manna, they're getting this, they're getting that. And all of a sudden, these guys, they've all come up in their robes and their clothes. And you remember last week we heard that their clothes were brand new. From the day that they went into the wilderness, their clothes were brand new. And they're all puffed up, all there, going up to Moses and Aaron. Who do you guys think you are? Don't you know that we're all holy people? Okay, let's see. And he spoke unto Korah and unto all his company, saying, even tomorrow the Lord will show who are his and who is holy. So you remember what we talked about? Who is on the Lord's side? Who is on the Lord's side? You better put those fires into the chat if you're on the Lord's side. And will cause him to come near unto him, even him who he has chosen. Who he has chosen will he cause to come near unto him. So let's see. You think that you're so holy. We'll see. We'll see. This is not about them. It's about who the God of Israel chooses. Who the God of Israel chooses, not who man chooses. This do, take you censers Korah and all his company, and put fire therein, and put incense in them before the Lord tomorrow. And it shall be that the man whom the Lord does choose, he shall be holy. Ye take too much upon you, ye sons of Levi. And Moses said unto Korah, hear I pray you, ye sons of Levi. Seemeth it but, okay, hear this. Seemeth it but a little thing unto you that the God of Israel has separated you from the congregation of Israel to bring you near to himself to do the service of the tabernacle of the Lord. You see this? You see how it all intertwines? These guys have already been separated to do great works, but seem that it's a little thing unto you. You disregard your duty in Israel. You take it for granted. That's where you start to become separated and disloyal and separate yourself from the God of Israel. This is where it starts, because you don't appreciate the little thing that you have been given. If you can't appreciate the little things, how are you going to appreciate the big things? How? Why do you think we have Day of Atonement? It's so that we can humble ourselves to see those little things that the God of Israel has done for us. Even our brethren, even our priests, even our elders, even each other. We can go down and say, you know what? I am grateful for my life, because it's the little thing, like my brethren coming to give me food when I need it, and I didn't even know that I need it. And it's not just physical food, it could be spiritual food. It could come to you and say the word that will help you to gain life, to continue on this journey. Because this journey cannot be done by yourself. You need to unite. The God of Israel, he didn't need us. Honestly, he didn't need us. But what joy is it? You know, there's a poem my mom just sent me recently, and it talked about, you can talk by yourself, but you can have a conversation with someone else. So it's that joy. You could smile by yourself, but you can laugh with someone else, right? It's that joy, that unity, that togetherness. That's what brings us together. It's for us to talk about these things, to have a conversation, to have a deeper sense of meaning, and even understand our purpose. Okay, so of course I've lost where I am, but I'm going to go from number 9. Seemeth it but a small thing unto you that the God of Israel has separated you from the congregation of Israel, to bring you near to himself, to do the services of the tabernacles of the Lord, and to stand before the congregation, to minister unto them. This is what you're already doing, but it's not enough. No, you want to talk with God. Good for you. And he has brought thee near to him, and all thy brethren, the sons of Levi, with thee. And seek ye the priesthood also? It's not enough. You want more than what's given to you. Are you ready? And for which cause both thou and all thy company are gathered together against the Lord. And what is Aaron that you murmur against him? You murmur against Aaron? Seriously? That's just telling you a lot when you really think about the conversation was going on here. You're jealous of Aaron. You're murmuring against Aaron. And Moses sent to call Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, which they said, we will not come up. They know deep down that there is a problem with this. There is a big problem with this story. We will not come up. Is it a small thing that thou hast brought us up? Now, this is what they are saying to Moses. Is it a small thing that thou hast brought us up out of the land that floweth with milk and honey, to kill us in the wilderness, except thou make thyself together a prince over us? That is just so cheeky, so rude, so disrespectful. The guy literally went and sacrificed his own self, his own life. Probably had all kinds of worries, probably thinking, he's dealing with the God of Israel and he's dealing with this people. And he's always that person in between these two walls. And then you are going, oh, look at you. You want to make yourself a prince? You want to be head over us? That's just sad. Moreover, thou hast not brought us into a land that floweth with milk and honey. So all they're looking at is what they left behind. They're not looking at the promise. They're not looking at the big picture. They are just looking at what they left behind. The sewers that the God of Israel took them from. They wanted the sewers. Sad. They don't know. They saw the magnitude and the majesty of the God of Israel. But they were, you took us from a place of milk and honey. There's no milk and honey here. This is the wilderness. Really? Is that all you can say after all of that? After everything that you've experienced? I don't know. Sometimes, as brethren, sometimes in the council, we get together and we talk about these things, and it's, do you really think, would you really have, wanted to go back to Egypt? We try to put ourselves in that situation. You've gone through all of this, and it's like, at what point do you think about going back and start dreaming about those things that were missed, about the leeks and the cucumbers? At what point do you start to do that? Anyways. Brought us out of the land that floweth with milk and honey, or given us inheritance of fields and vineyards. Wilt thou put out the eyes of these men? We will not come up. So they've already accused him for not giving them what they want. And they said they would not come up because they know that they are in the wrong. They were afraid. And Moses was very wroth and said unto the Lord, respect not their offering. I have not taken one ass from them, neither have I hurt one of them. I have not done anything to these people. I have not done anything. And Moses said unto Korah, be thou and all thy company before the Lord, thou and they and Aaron tomorrow. And take every man his censer and put incense in them, and bring ye before the Lord every man his censer, 250 censers, all those princes. Thou also and Aaron, each of you, his censer. You come, we'll see. We got to clean this thing up. We got to nip it in the butt right now. Let's clean this mess up. Everybody bring your incense and make sure that it's filled with incense. Your censer pot, and make sure that it's filled with incense. And they took every man his censer and put fire in them and laid incense thereon and stood in the door of the tabernacle of the congregation with Moses and Aaron. And Korah gathered all the congregation against them unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. Okay. Please remember, visualize this. Don't just read it because it's just here in black and white. Visualize it. So everybody's set up. You got Korah and Dathan, all their company. You got Moses and Aaron with the congregation, with the rest of the congregation, at the doors of the tabernacle. Now let's see how this is going to play out. And the glory of the Lord appeared unto all the congregation. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, separate yourself. Separate yourself from among this congregation, that I may consume them in this moment. He just wants them. This is so ridiculous. The God of Israel is not even looking at reason. He just wants to consume them all. And they fell upon their faces and said, O God, the God of the spirits of all flesh, shall one man sin, and wilt thou be wroth with all the congregation? And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the congregation, saying, get you up from about the tabernacle of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. I really would not want to be in their shoes. If the God of Israel is angry, this angry? Oof. And Moses rose up and went unto Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. And he spake unto the congregation, saying, depart, I pray you, from the tents of these wicked men, and touch nothing of theirs, lest ye be consumed in all their sins. So they gat up from the tabernacles of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram on every side, and Dathan and Abiram came out and stood in the door of their tents, and their wives and their sons and their little children. Right, so they're all there with their whole family. And Moses said, hereby ye shall know that the Lord has sent me to do all these works, for I have not done them of mine own mind. He's already telling them, listen, right now, I am the messenger. I am coming because the Lord has sent me. This is not my doing. If these men die, the common death of all men, right? He's putting it, you remember the story of Gideon? Yeah, we've got the same kind of feel here, the story of Gideon. If these men die the common death of all men, or if they be visited after the visitation of all men, then the Lord has not sent me. If this is a natural or a common phenomena, yeah, then the Lord hasn't sent me. But if the Lord make a new thing, something that's not been seen, And the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up with all that pertain unto them, and they go down quick into the pit, then ye shall understand that these men have provoked the Lord. This is a big thing. So you imagine you're out there, you're in the fields, and this is the test. So if these men just like fell down with heart attacks or something visited them later and they died or they passed away, then you know this is nothing to do with the Lord. But if the earth that you see right now in front of you, imagine you're going outside and you see your garden and you look, and if that garden just opens up just like that, then you would know. Then you would know. That's a big thing. You can't blame that on Moses. We understand that Moses was a very wise and very spiritual man. But who was his source? His source was the God of Israel, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. That was his source. So half the time, he didn't have to do anything. All he had to do was entreat the God of Israel. The God of Israel is there to fight his battles. Likewise, we have to remember that too, that the God of Israel is there to fight our battles. He's there to protect us from those that want to hurt us, from those that want to destroy us. He will protect us. And it's never the way we think it's going to be, but it will happen in his time. And it came to pass, I'm at 31 for those who's following along. And it came to pass, as he had made an end of speaking all these words, that the ground clave asunder and was under them. And the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up, and their houses, and all the men that appertained unto Korah, and all their goods. They and all that appertained to them went down alive into the pit, and the earth closed upon them, and they perished from among the congregation. Wow, let me just grab this. You see what's taking place? The earth has just opened up and swallowed everything in that vicinity, everything that pertained to them. The earth just swallowed up. And all Israel that were around about them fled at the cry of them. Could you imagine? They're just screaming and then going down into the earth. What a nightmare scene. A nightmare scene. Everybody's running. It's like, and they're hearing the cries. These are cries of people that you're never going to see again. They're gone. In a heartbeat, they're gone. All they could hear is the cries. It must have been a terrifying scene. Absolutely terrifying. And all Israel that were round about them fled at the cry of them. For they said, lest the earth swallow us up also. And there came out a fire from the Lord and consumed the 250 men that offered incense. Remember those princes? Yeah, they got burnt up. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, that he take up the censers out of the burning, and scatter thou the fire yonder, for they are hallowed. The censers of these sinners against their own souls. Let them make them broad plates for a covering of the altar, for they offer them before the Lord. Therefore they are hallowed, and they shall be a sign unto the children of Israel. Now this story goes on a little bit deeper. Let's see how far. Oh boy, time really does fly. Let me see. Okay. And Eleazar the priest took the brazen censers. I want to go down a little bit more. Let's go to 41. But on the morrow, all the congregation of the children of Israel, listen to this. This is after all of this took place. after everything that took place, you remember what Moses said, right? You remember what he said. If these guys die of natural causes, or the common death of man, or if they perish in that way, then it's not of the Lord. But if the earth opens up, then this is the God of Israel. This is what he is doing. He is opening up the earth. He is consuming these people. He is putting down a fire and consuming those princes. This is the God of Israel doing this. And it came to pass, Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron, saying, "Ye have killed the people of the Lord." Oh, ye have killed the people of the Lord. This is what the people are saying. Where were they? Oh my goodness, I'm just like blown away by the tenacity of these people. They're blaming Moses and Aaron after they were there. They stood there and they saw everything that was taking place. And they turned around and blamed Moses and Aaron? And it came to pass, when the congregation was gathered against Moses, now all the congregation now, this is against Moses and against Aaron. They looked toward the tabernacle of the congregation, and behold, the cloud covered it, and the glory of the Lord appeared. The God of Israel, he is just sick of the people, this people. It's like, what is it in man's heart and his mind that he refuses to discern the simple things, the things that you see, let alone the things you don't see, the things that you see, and yet still. And Moses and Aaron came before the tabernacles of the congregation. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, "Get you up from among this congregation, that I, could you imagine your dad just being so angry with you? Oh gosh, this is the God of Israel. Move yourself from them. Move yourself right now, so that I may consume them at a moment." And they fell on their faces. And Moses said unto Aaron, "Take a censer and put fire therein from off the altar, and put on incense, and go quickly unto the congregation, and make an atonement for them. For there is wrath gone out from the Lord." There's a wrath that's already gone out there. He's just ready to consume them. The plague is begun. So if you continue to read, sorry, I feel like this thing's going to fall off of me. But if you continue to read, you will see that, yes, it wasn't just those that were with Korah and Dathan and their whole company and their families and then the 250 guys. There was a whole lot more that perished during this time because of lack of unity, disunity, the lack of one accordness, the lack of togetherness. There was a divide among them. You can continue reading the rest of the story, but due to time, I just want to move on a little bit. But I hope you really, you've taken that into consideration. We often sing, it's in the scriptures, "Touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm." The God of Israel has chosen these people. Don't put your hand to he that the God of Israel has chosen. And as a matter of fact, it is beneficial for you to cling on to them for dear life and create that sense of unity, that strength. Create that strength. There is so much garbage already happening in the world. Why fight inside? Why fight inside? We need to unite. And we have the ability to unite. As Elder often says, during the time of slavery, when we were in the belly of ships, and we were naked and we were in a mess and disarray, we only had ourselves to cling on to. It doesn't matter if they smelt bad or if they felt disgusting because of all the liquids oozing from their bodies and the mess that they were in and the vomits. They held on to each other for dear life. That was unity. And you know what gave them strength? That gave them strength to survive, to move forward, to know that they can make it through another day. But it must have been tough. It must have been tough, and they needed each other in order to get through to the next day. And you have to remember, myself included, and all those like me, we have to remember that we came from the stock of greatness. Because if they had gone through all of that to survive to, and we are here today, what does that say about us? What does that say about this people who is in such disarray? Because all the nations in the world are united in strength. But it's only the people that look like me, the Jacobites, that fight constantly and tear each other down constantly. And I know this, I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen how other nations, there will be two individuals, two Hindu friends of mine. Maybe they're not friends with each other. But dare you talk against any of them? Dare you talk against any of them? They understand unity. We struggle with this. I'm not going to go into it, but Pentecost is a great example of unity and strength and one accord and the goodness that came from it. We were so united, we started speaking in different languages where other people understood. That is some serious unity. And that's from the Spirit. This is a spiritual thing. Unity is a spiritual thing. When you are together, you can look to Joshua 6, and remember what happened there when Joshua went round around the walls with the people and they shouted and the walls came down. That was some serious unity. We could even go to Leviticus, and I'm just pointing out these scriptures. I'm hoping that my priest Tyrone, who will come up here later on and dive into this and really embrace what it really means to be unified and to experience that strength of unity, knowing that we are the God of Israel's chosen people. In Leviticus 26, it talks about the obedience and the reward and the punishment because of disobedience. Right? Again, it's showing you, it's setting you up, it's giving you the ingredients of what it means to be unified and all the blessings. It's like, Elder Michael used this analogy the other day, it's like baking a cake. And all these components, they come together and they unify to make something sweet and scrumptious and delicious. This is what unity and strength is about. Let's go to Ephesians 6. Unity, I think it's so underestimated, and I wish we would take that into consideration when we listen to this doctrine. We are the teachers, and we're not just saying it just to annoy people. It's just the truth. I mean, we've read it, and you've listened many times, and if you haven't, please do listen to the videos. We are the teachers of this truth. But we encourage you from wherever you are, from whatever nation, whatever color, whatever you are, whoever you are, we encourage you to come and seek the truth. Come. This is what we want. We want to teach about our Father, the God of Israel, because it's just such a sweet thing to know. It is such a sweet thing. Let's go to, Ephesians 6. The armor of God. Go Ephesians 6 from 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might, and put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Now, we are out there, but as I said before, you can't fight this battle by yourself. You cannot fight this battle by yourself. And that is why we come together to unite, to speak about doctrine, to laugh and to feast when the God of Israel calls his people together. Because he knows that there is things that's coming down the pipe and we need to be ready. And the only way you're going to be ready is by communicating and being with your brethren. The unity. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand before, having your loins girt about with truth. So we know the foundation of Israel is truth. And we need to have that. This is the foundation. Without the truth, you have nothing. You have a crumbly foundation. You do not have a foundation of strength that includes the covenant, discipline, and obedience. Having on the breastplate of righteousness. This is about protection. Protection, Israel. And your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. What do we do when we go in and out of people's homes? When we go to our brethren's home, what is the first thing that you say? You're walking into your brethren's home. Peace be unto this house. Peace be upon you. Above all, taking the shield of faith, to protect you. You need to have this. You need to know that it's there and it will protect you. Wherein ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. Now that is powerful. That is powerful. That is strength. With all of these items coming together to fortify your faith, to fortify you in this doctrine, that is some serious strength. Having all of that gives you that unity. Praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints. Selah and Selah, amen. Wasn't that beautiful? I want to just conclude by saying, this is, it always sounds so biased. But when you are in the world and you look at all the philosophies out there, you will hopefully know that they are not for you, especially if you are a Jacobite. You will see that they are not for you. And you cannot find strength, and you cannot find unity, and you cannot find one accordness when you're out there in the world, because eventually that will crumble. But here, this is home. This is the home of the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. This is the altar at the border. This is the place where we serve our King and our Lord. And we serve him in truth and righteousness. And as you've heard from my brothers and sisters that come here, you've heard from Minister Donna, you've heard from Priest Doreen, you've heard from Minister Charmaine, you've heard from Priest Ricardo, you've heard from my brethren, you've heard from Elder Kurt, you've heard from Priest Elder Jeffrey, you've heard from, I always try not to mention everybody's name because I know I've forgotten a whole bunch, but you've heard from them. And they have beautiful, beautiful words. And all we're just trying to do is share the treasures that we have. You know, you come and you turn on, and this is what we're doing. We're showing you, you know, this book has been written about us, right? It was written by us, and it was written for us. But what good is it if we never read it? What good is it? Sometimes we don't have an opportunity to do so. So with that, I just want to say, from the words of my brother Paul, in the book of Ephesians 4, I therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you that ye walk worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called, with all lowliness and meekness and long-suffering, forbearing one another in love, humility, very important, endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. There is one body and one Spirit, even as ye are called in hope of your calling. There is one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in you all. And with that, I would like to say, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one.
Hello. I hope you are enjoying our program so far. We are so thrilled you have decided to join us for today's event. If this is your first time, go ahead and hit that subscription button, and don't forget to click the notification bell so that you can stay up to date on all of our upcoming videos. Also, please like, comment, and share our videos. We truly appreciate it. We are so passionate about sharing our Israelite culture, and we welcome your generosity in helping us to reach more people. So please feel free to leave us donations. If you are thinking about joining us and would like to learn more, fill out the form in the description below, and one of our team members from the Welcome Committee will be in contact with you shortly. I thank you for your time and look forward to seeing you soon. And with that, I bid you peace, love, truth, prosperity, and power.
Thank you, Officer Charmaine. That was a wonderful, wonderful message that was brought unto you. And welcome, friends and guests. Thank you for joining us this day. I'd like to start by reading the Psalms. Blessed is he that considereth the poor. The Lord will deliver him in time of trouble. The Lord will preserve him and keep him alive, and he shall be blessed upon the earth. And thou wilt not deliver him unto the will of his enemies. The Lord will strengthen him upon the bed of languishing, and thou wilt make all his bed in his sickness. I said, Lord, be merciful unto me, and heal my soul. My enemies speak evil of me. When shall he die and his name perish? And if he come to see me, his heart gathereth iniquity to itself, and when he goeth abroad, he telleth it. All that hate me whisper together against me. Against me do they devise my hurt. An evil disease say they cleaveth fast unto him, and now that he lieth, he shall rise up no more. Yea, mine own familiar friend, in whom I trusted, which did eat of my bread, hath lifted up his heel against me. But thou, O Lord, be merciful unto me, and raise me up, that I may requite them. By this I know that thou favourest me, because mine enemy doth not triumph over me. And as for me, thou upholdest me in mine integrity, and settest me before thy face forever. Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, from everlasting and to everlasting. Amen and amen. The subject matter today, strength in unity. Officer Charmaine said some really good points, and she made some wonderful statements which are true and reside within the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries. that we are, number one, as our elder Shadrach has taught us, that we are a spiritual nation. We are spiritual people. Our God is the God of all spirits. He is the spirit of all spirit. He is a God of unity. He's a God of order, and he's a God of structure. I'm going to go a bit deeper, but I would like to just, again, start off the message today of strength and unity and add my part to Officer Charmaine and Velcro onto her, because she had a few of my scriptures, which is okay. The Spirit works. It's perfectly fine. But I want to start off by reading Psalms 133. Some of you may be very familiar with this psalm, and I think it's appropriate to start in terms of the unity, the strength in unity, by someone who is incredibly spiritual, like our father David, even King David. And it goes like this. It goes, "Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity." It's a very powerful opening first verse. How good and how pleasant it is for brethren. Who is my brethren? Who is my brother? Who is my mother, my father? Who is my brother? Who's my mother? Those that serve the same God as me, my brethren. We worship the same God. We call upon the same name. Our Father is the same. The God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. It is like precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard of even Aaron's beard and went down to the skirts of his garments. Why oil? Why so precious? Officer Charmaine, that you said that you could bring many components together. The oil, the water, the flour, and you can make a nice piece of bread, whole. Wonderful. Unity, it works together. Oil, all the components that make oil. As the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion, for the Lord commanded the blessing, even life forevermore. Unity, working together. Even the dew, the God of Israel commanded and worked together to bring what? Water upon the land, even upon Mount Zion. Water, a very spiritual and a significant element. This is a very, very hard subject for as a people, and Officer Charmaine said wonderfully that we have this common denominator with the people of Jacob and even Israel. Same disease. I'll call it a disease. And it's inherent. She described the betrayal. When we should be unified, we betray each other for a piece of bread. When we should be unified, we betray each other for a job. When we should be together and unified, we betray each other for advancement, for friends, for money, silver and gold, perishable items. Elder Andel mentioned to me in my ear, which is very, very true, that they put friendship above the God of Israel. Friendship above the God of Israel. Flesh above the spirit of all spirits. That's something that should be thought about and why that seems to happen. But I would like to go straight into the scriptures because I only have an hour with you today. And I would like to go straight to the book of Joshua. Joshua chapter 6. And Officer Sharman explained about just how it is if we don't work together, the negative impact of the children of Israel particularly not being able to work together, and what happens. Why do we fail? Why do we betray each other? How is it that other nations can come together, be together, live together in the same house in peace, and depart having more than what they came into the house with? You put 10 children of Jacob in one home. Put 10 of them into one home to share. In the first day, you'll be having fights as who stole my food? You're sitting on my bed. You're complaining. This one's doing this. There's fighting. And then by the end of the week, there'll probably be some bloodshed and everybody's gone their separate ways. Jacob, Israel. You put the other nations together, give them 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 years, they've all owning 3, 4, 5, 6, $10 million homes. And we're still in the gutter, fighting, scrambling for their meat. Disunity. That is a terrible thing amongst our people. But let's read on. Before I read, I just want to say we betrayed, and Officer Charmaine said it quite rightly. Our leaders, betraying of the leaders is symptomatic of Jacob and Israel. Wherever they go, they betray. They turned on the man, the woman put in charge to lead them out and to direct them. They betrayed them. And may I also say that some may feel discomforted in their feelings about Officer Charmaine speaking because she is, in fact, a woman. May I stress to you that women are the first teachers. They are the one that teach you while the man or the husbandman goes out to work. May I just say that? And our Elder Shadrach made that very clear in several videos. Please read back and watch them over. Take time, make notes, and follow it through. Women are qualified in this nation to speak and to teach, far greater than many other nations. In fact, the top of all the nations. The women are far qualified to teach here. If you are referring to a particular scripture, it was described incredibly by our elder and the priesthood. Those women were not Israelite women being described. Just so you understand that. But let's go into now the book of Joshua, chapter 6. And it reads as thus. It says, Now Jericho was straitly shut up because of the children of Israel. None went out and none came in for fear, because they heard of the power of our God. Why? Why? Something took place for that power to take place. The unity of our fathers, the children of Israel, sent fear amongst the land, and all the kingdoms of the world feared Israel because they were united. The Spirit of our God was able to move amongst and work with them. The Spirit of our God, unity. Let's move on. The Lord said unto Joshua, See, I have given into thine hand Jericho, the king thereof, and the mighty men of valor. And ye shall compass the city, all ye men of war, and go around about the city once. Thus shalt thou do 6 days. Instruction. Now, let's understand the hierarchy that's taking place here. Our God, he is the God of gods in charge. He is our God, the king of Israel. He now went down to who was chosen next. He didn't go to the third or fourth or some elder along the way or some brethren along the way. He went to Joshua, who was given the order to lead the children of Israel. Let's understand. There's principle, there's hierarchy. I'm going to bring you somewhere. And 7 priests shall bear before the ark 7 trumpets of rams' horns. And the 7th day ye shall compass the city 7 times, and the priest shall blow with the trumpets. There's an order of things that's being done. Notice that the name of the priests were not called. They were called priests at the time. Let's read on. And it shall come to pass that when they make a long blast with the ram's horn, and when ye hear the sound of the trumpet, all the people shall shout with a great shout, and the wall of the city shall fall down flat, and the people shall ascend up, every man straight before him. Wow. The instruction, the precision, the dedication, the timing of everything comes with order, comes with unity, because every single party had to play their part. The priest had to play their part. Ram's horns had to be blown 7 times. They had to walk about the city at the set time. Everything was in order and instructed, unified, working together for the end goal. For the end goal. Let's keep on reading. And Joshua the son of Nun called the priest and said to them, Take up the ark of the covenant, and let 7 priests bear 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the ark of the Lord. You see? There was no disarray. There was no disunity here. There wasn't one just calling someone, okay, you just come and hold this horn. You do this. It's specific. Let's read on. And he said unto the people, Pass on and compass the city, and let him that is armed pass on before the ark of the Lord. Now let's go further into the instructions. in verse 8. And it came to pass when Joshua had spoken unto the people that the 7 priests bearing the 7 trumpets, rams, horns, passed on before the Lord and blew the trumpets. And the ark of the covenant of the Lord followed them. And the armed men went before the priest that blew the trumpet, and rewarded came after the ark. The priest going on and the blowing of the trumpet. You see, there's an order again. I keep stressing this. The order, the structure, the unity. There was no one fighting. The priest wasn't fighting the ones with the ram's horn, wasn't fighting the priest holding the ark. The ones holding the ark wasn't fighting the one who was the armed swordsman. There was none. The armed swordsman wasn't shouting and fighting the people in the congregation to blow, to shout with a loud shout. They all worked together. They all worked together like a symphony. Perfect. Perfect. Because the walls of Jericho were very high. Let's read on. And we're not only talking about the physical aspect. You see, you have to understand what's happening. The walls, material fell down. But let's understand what Jericho was. The spiritual aspect of the blowing of the horns. Okay. So the ark of the Lord compassed the city. I'll go back up 1 to Joshua verse 10. Let's go. And Joshua had commanded the people, saying, Ye shall not shout, nor make any noise with your voice, neither shall any word proceed out of your mouth, until the day I bid you shout. Then shall ye shout. Don't make a noise. Discipline yourself. Don't talk. Don't think I'm going to have this conversation, because what happens, you're going to miss the instruction. Don't think I'm just going to have a privilege, I'll be late, I can rest in. Be on time. Wait for my instruction. Don't be like who? The 5 foolish virgins that didn't take enough oil for their lamps and thought they can borrow for one. Instructions is instructions. Be prepared. Don't do it, because this is coming down from a hierarchy. The God of Israel has now spoken to who? Joshua. Joshua has now sent that exact word down to the people. Unity. He is unified with our God. We now unified with the leader. They're unified with Joshua. That's what I'm talking about. Think about what's happening here. So the ark of the Lord compassed the city, going about it once. And they came into the camp and lodged in the camp. And Joshua rose early in the morning, and the priest took up the ark of the Lord, and 7 priests bearing 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the ark of the Lord went on continually and blew the trumpet, and the armed men went before them. But the reward came after the ark of the Lord, the priests going on and blowing the trumpets. Do you understand what I'm saying? Day 1, executed. Let's go. The second day, they compassed the city once and returned into the camp. So they did 6 days. There was no disunity, my friends, brethren and guests. They worked together. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine Israel working together on this magnitude, this scale? It's like saying, okay, guys, we're going to march around the White House. And we're going to blow the trumpet. And the walls will come tumbling down. Could we do it? As a people, united, could we do it? No. Because one would say, I want to blow the horn because I've got a bigger horn. One would say, no, I should carry the Ark of the Covenant because, I'm more spiritual than you. Just like Dathan, Korah, and Abiram, as Officer Charmaine read. Everybody wants to be the one in charge. Where's the unity? Where's the power? Where's the strength in that? Where is it? Where's the obedience? Where is taking instruction? You see, if you cannot take instruction, you cannot be unified. If you cannot take instruction, you cannot be unified. You're disobedient. I'm going to read on because I have a few scriptures I want to go into, and I will. Let's read it. Verse 15. And it came to pass on the 7th day that they rose early about the dawning of the day and compassed the city after the same manner 7 times. Only on that day they compassed the city 7 times. So one day was specific. 7 times. very specific to our God. Why? Is it just a physical war that came down? Or was it a spiritual atmosphere that they surrounded themselves, encased it with a physical war so that they didn't want to be penetrated? But we're dealing with the God of all gods and the King of all kings, and his structure is correct. Let's read on. And it came to pass in the 7th time, when the priest blew with the trumpets, Joshua said unto the people, shout, for the Lord hath given you the city. Why? Because you kept the instruction that was given. You unified together. No one murmured, no one talking when they weren't supposed to. The priest was in place. The Ark of the Covenant was in place. Joshua was in place. Now the God of Israel looks down and sees my instructions is kept. The unity of my people. Now strength comes. What happens? Let's read on. And the city shall be accursed. Let's go back up one. And it came to pass, I'm going to go again. Verse 16. And it came to pass at the 7th time, when the priest blew with the trumpet, Joshua said unto the people, shout, for the Lord hath given you the city, and the city shall be accursed, even it, and all that are therein, to the Lord. Only Rahab, the harlot, shall live, she and all that are with her in the house, because she hid the messengers that we sent. Imagine that. She became unified with us, a stranger, a citizen of Jericho, a harlot. She hid the 2 messengers in the roof of her home, and she was able to be saved. Our word, the word was kept. And ye in any wise keep yourselves from the accursed thing. Again, he's warning about this accursed thing. Lest ye make yourselves accursed when ye take the accursed thing and make the camp of Israel accursed and trouble it. So if you go and you take something that the God of Israel said, do not touch, don't go there. You don't only curse yourself, you curse Israel. And this is what happened. You read it on in chapter 7, but I'm going to read on. Verse 19, but all the silver and gold and vessels of brass and iron are consecrated unto the Lord. They shall come into the treasury of the Lord. Instruction is kept. Destroy this one. Keep this one. This is accursed. But if you are disobedient, if you're greedy, if you're high-minded, if you have a proud look like Dathan and Korah and Abiram, you won't have the unity and you will not be in one accord with the people, more so with the leader. You'll find yourself, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. And your mind starts wandering. Your body's there, but your mind is somewhere else. Slowly you'll find yourself out the door. Let's read on. So the people shouted, and the priest blew the trumpets. And it came to pass, when the people heard the sound of the trumpet, and the people shouted with a great shout, that the wall fell down flat, so that the people went up into the city, every man straight before him, and they took the city, and they utterly destroyed all that was in the city, both man and woman, young and old, and ox and sheep and ass, with the edge of the sword. Kill everything. God is a God of love. He loves everything, but this is what he told them to do. Kill everything, because they are cursed unto me. Was it just because they were Jericho and they had high walls? That's why he told them to do this? Think about it. What is it that our Father prepared the priesthood, Joshua, the leadership to do? They were doing something physical that had a spiritual action. There was something spiritual taking place, but it could only happen with the unification, the united hearts of all the participants, of all of Israel at that time. There was no time for discord. There was no time for this one saying this. You are about to go into battle, physically and spiritually. Arm yourself up. But Joshua had said unto the 2 men that had spied out the country, go into the harlot's house and bring out hence the woman and all that she hath, as you swear unto her. And the young men that went were spies, went in and brought out Rahab and her father and her mother and her brethren and all that she had. And they brought out all her kindred and left them without the camp of Israel. And you read down, Israel destroyed Jericho, burnt it down to the ground with fire. Everything destroyed. But oh no, I'm going to finish it. And they burnt the city with fire and all that was therein. Only the silver and the gold and the vessels of brass and the iron they put in the treasury of the house of the Lord. And Joshua saved Rahab, the harlot, alive, and her father's household and all that she had. And she dwelleth in Israel even unto this day. She became an Israelite. She became Israel. She became one of us. She enjoyed the richness of our culture. She enjoyed everything that we had. She enjoyed the fine linen. She enjoyed the protection. More so, she got to know our Father, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Why? Because she saved two of us. Two. Let's read on. And Joshua saved Rahab the harlot alive, and her father's household, and all that she had. And she dwelleth in Israel even unto this day, because she hid the messengers which Joshua sent to spy out Jericho. And Joshua adjourned them at the time, saying, Cursed be the man before the Lord that riseth up and buildeth the city Jericho. Cursed be that man. He shall lay the foundation thereof in his firstborn, and his youngest son shall he set up the gates of it. So the Lord was with Joshua, and his fame was noised throughout the entire country. Huge, because of why? We just described unity with the children of Israel. Could you imagine? They're coming out of the high. They've crossed over Jordan. They've seen Jordan, bam, it parts. You walk through on dry ground. Again, all the men are now circumcised again because their fathers were always not doing what they were supposed to be. They weren't doing what they were supposed to do. And now the God of Israel now is with Joshua, gives him the instructions because he has something to do. There was no time for discord. There was no time to say, I won't do it, Joshua. There was no time to say, I am not with you, Joshua, because the word's gone out from our father's mouth. And Joshua's now come unto the people and to Israel and to the priesthood and said, this is what you must do in this order. There wasn't time to say, I'm not doing it because I don't like you, priest. Priest, I don't like you, or men of war, I don't like you, I'm not doing it. There wasn't time for that. The unity with our people. You know, Officer Charmaine said that she hoped that I had more nicer news to come and bring about unity. I do. We've just read some here. But the problem with our people is that we're always trying to outsmart each other, always trying to think I'm better than you, always trying to be above the leaders. The God of Israel specifically has chosen for this time our elder Shadrach to lead this nation. And for those newcomers and guests and friends and those who are just new coming into the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries, when I take this time to just describe something to you, that our elder Shadrach is the master teacher of the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries. And I will describe the members of the Supreme Council, just so you are aware of who they are. We have our elder Shadrach. We have elder Andel. And notice I have not called Elder Andel by his first name. His name is Elder Andel. We have Elder Castrilli, Elder Michael, Elder Freddie, Elder Priest Kirk. Again, I'm being very specific, very specific. Officer Charmaine. Officer Charmaine. Priest Doreen. And myself, Priest Tyrone. But these are the members of the Supreme Council. And we see there is a structure, there is hierarchy, there is order within our Father's house. There is not, I just want to just take a quick break here because again, it's about unity. If you cannot respect your leaders and honor our leaders, how can you be united with the nation? How could you be united with the spirit of truth? How could we be bonded with our elder Shadrach and our elder Andel to move the nation forward? You cannot, because your outset, you have been disrespectful disrespectful, not only to our elders, but to yourself. And your integrity is flawed because you show not respect unto whom our Father has put respect upon. Remember our Father, he spoke unto who? Moses, our father Moses. And he's put his hand upon Joshua. That was the next one in charge. Do you understand what's happening? The leaders of the nation ought to be respected. And the reason why I say and stress this more, because if someone who was wearing a dog collar, you'll be quick to stand up and give him a seat. If something you don't know, he's molested about 1 million children, but you'll call him priest and father. Killed everybody, and you would bow yourself backwards to him. I speak to Jacob and Israel. That's who I'm speaking to. The one who has called himself father and priest or reverend, make himself a god. You will get up and you bow yourself. I know, I see you. In your workplace, I know. But the ones who are in the house, unifying the nation, building our Father's home, there is disrespect. This ought not to be and should stop immediately. So I have just described members of the Supreme Council and even our council abroad. The leaders ought to be respected and they should be called by their proper titles. Elder Jeffrey, Elder Kurt, Priest Ricardo, Minister Charmaine, Minister Donna, Elder Dexter, Elder Denise. Do we understand? This is important for us to understand as a people because we have this symptomatic behavior of disrespect. And it ought not to be so because you disrespect the leadership, you disrespect yourself, you have no unity with us at all. There cannot be. There cannot be. You see someone in a bow tie, you'll call him whatever they call them. You see someone in a dog collar, you'll bow yourself backwards. Someone present themselves as a reverend, you would honor them. Please, respect is due. Thank you. Let's turn our books now to one of my favorites, yet still very emotional. And again, we're speaking about the unity of this nation, the Israelite nation, the children of Jacob, the children of Israel. That's what I'm speaking about. Strength in our unity. We see how strong they are outside when they're all together. Doing foolishness, they're together. When it's coming to kill, they're together. When it's coming to do this, to tear down, you are together. When you're ready to backtalk, you're together. What is wrong with you? Let me read. Jeremiah chapter 23. Jeremiah chapter 23. Please, read with me. And let's go through it. It says, "Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, saith the Lord." Woe unto you pastors. We don't have pastors here. I think you can see why. Woe unto you pastors. Where have you seen these pastors? I'm going to give it to you. Pastors. I'm going to enjoy this. "Therefore, thus saith the Lord, God of Israel, against the pastors that feed my people." You're feeding the people of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He just said it. Woe unto you that feed my people lies. You pack up the shrines daily, feeding them lies. The children of Jacob, God's children, people. "Ye have scattered my flock and driven them away and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doings, saith the Lord." All of your wickedness. You scattered our people all over, lying to them. Let's get into it. "And I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all the countries whither I have driven them, and will bring them again to their folds, and they shall be fruitful and increase." Why is this? You see, this is the Israelite nation worldwide ministries, where we have branches in the UK, in the US, Canada being the pillar at the border and the head office. And they are the folds of the children of Jacob. And they are in these countries. And these pastors are notorious for feeding them lies and scattering them. with their falsehoods and driving them out. Read chapter, verse 4. And I will set up shepherds over them, which shall feed them, and they shall fear no more, nor be dismayed, neither shall there be lacking, saith the Lord. Do you understand what this particular chapter is speaking about? Today's times. Shepherds, leadership in the UK, in the US, New York, New Jersey, Atlanta, Missouri, Canada. Shepherds that's going to feed them. You're going to come back home, children of Israel, and unite again with your, not only your brethren, your family, and your God. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch. Now, when I speak, please understand what that says. It says branch with a capital B. That means head. That means important. That means titled. And the king shall reign and prosper and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. You could call that right here at the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries in Canada, Toronto. The head branch, the righteous branch of our Father. Let's continue. In his day, Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely. And this is the name whereby he shall be called, the Lord our righteousness. Where is the Lord our righteousness in any other part of the world? Heard. Nowhere, apart from here and the branches abroad. Right here. So we understand what the scripture is saying. He's speaking about the Israelite nation, us, here at the pillar at the border, in Toronto, Canada. Right here, for you. Right here, for you. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that they shall no more say, the Lord liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. Correct. But the Lord liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north, and from all the countries whither I had driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what Jeremiah is saying? He's saying it's going to come a time. Yes, we praised our God 400 years. 1619, 2019, 400 years we battled. Now we're coming back home. We're seeing new members coming into all the branches. They're coming from the north, east, west, and south. As far as I saw someone in Germany one time. Far, Sweden, Trinidad, Tobago. They're coming back home. This is what he's saying. I'm going to bring them back. And they're going to be fed by the shepherds under the main branch. Do you understand what this is saying? This is a serious topic we're dealing with. Because the pastors are out there doing evil, scattering our people, lying to our people habitually, telling them, let me get into it. I'm getting excited here. Let me get into it. Verse 9. Mine heart within me is broken because of the prophets. Oh, there's plenty of prophets out there. I see this prophet, what's his name? Benjamin something, walking with red candle. Wickedness, evil. What a devil. The devil. Walking around, deceiving the children of Israel, saying he's healing them. All my bones shake. I am like a drunken man and like a man whom wine hath overcome because of the Lord and because of the words of his holiness. His words has overcome me so much, I don't know what to do. I can't stand. These evil people are around me, but I've got to take this word to you. That's what he's saying. He's expressing his deep grief because of all you wicked pastors and prophets, or call yourself prophets, deceiving the children of Jacob and Israel. For the land is full of adulterers. Yeah. For because of the swearing, the land mourneth. The pleasant places of the wilderness are dried up, and their counsel and their course is evil, and their force is not right. Nothing that is around this happening is is prospering. Everything is just dead. That's it. For both prophet and priest are profane. Yea, in my house have I found their wickedness, saith the Lord. You understand exactly what that means without me having to go into detail of that. Wherefore, their way shall be unto them as a slippery way in darkness. They shall be driven on and fall therein, for I will bring evil upon them, even the year of their visitation, saith the Lord. Officer Charmaine said, when Dathan and Korah rise them up themselves, but we're priests too. We're holy too. You know, we could do the services too. It wasn't enough that you, the God of Israel, gave you something to do. You sought the priesthood. You wanted to be priest too. You wanted to be priest too. This is what it's saying right here. I'm going to give you to your own ways, and you're going to slide in the day when I visit you, when I make the appointment, when that judgment time for you is now already. Dathan and Korah's appointment, and Abiram, and all their company, and the 250 princes, their appointment was then. They didn't even realize. It came just like that, in the worst way. And I have seen folly in the prophets of Samaria. This is it. This is it. They prophesied in Baal and caused my people to err. There's that name again. There's that name again. You pastors and prophets and so-called priests. Prophesying to the people, lying to the people, all in the name of Baal. You think it's in my God's name. It's never. I'm going to read, I'm going to tell you why. I have seen also in the prophets of Jerusalem an horrible thing. They commit adultery and walk in lies. They strengthen also the hands of evildoers, that none doth return from his wickedness. They are all of them unto me as Sodom and the inhabitants thereof of Gomorrah. That means there are people that will be here. You leave. You continue with your lies and your wickedness to bring out those ones that are in this nation. That bring out the children of Jacob and keep them outside and let them stay out in the cold. You lie with your falsities, but you think that you're doing well. Let me read on. Therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts concerning the prophets, those that think that they're prophesying. Behold, I will feed them with wormwood and make them drink the water of gall. For from the prophets of Jerusalem is profaneness gone forth into all the land. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what this means? This means that everything that you've come, you're prophesying, you're lying to the people. You're leading them astray by way of Baal. You're prophesying and speaking by way of Baal. And you come and you're saying it's the God of Israel. He's going to destroy you. He's going to destroy you. You wait. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, hearken not unto the words of the prophets and that prophesy unto you. They make you vain. They speak of vision of their own heart and not out of the mouth of the Lord. They are proud. It's me, maybe it's because of me why this, and, I've got to tell you, just lying. Lying to you, making a vision of their own lust, their own heart's lust. They gave up into their own heart's lust. Oh, where have we heard that scripture in the book of Psalms? Who could find it? They say still unto them that despise me. Do you understand? If you leave the nation, if you leave the God of Israel, you despise the God of Israel. I'm telling you, I don't care what you say. If you take yourself and you walk out these doors, the gates, the pillar at the border, where the tabernacle, you despise the God of Israel. I never want to hear that you are an Israelite. I don't want to hear it. Because you profane that name. That name is reserved for those that stand with the leadership of this nation, that stand with brethren that work in this nation to build our Father's home in unity and strength. That's where it comes from. You're not strong enough, so you have to go. But keep from saying you're an Israelite. Respectfully, please. Because I'm an Israelite and we are not the same. Let's read on. And it says, they say still unto them that despise me, the Lord hath said, ye shall have peace. They say unto everyone that walketh after the imagination of his own heart, no evil shall come upon you. That's it. That's it. Let's go, guys. Don't worry. We're good. The Lord said we're good. We're going to have our feast. We're going to have our things. You'll never have it. There's pure lies. Because why you've detached yourself away from where? The foundation. The foundation is unified. It's together. It is one. Like the body. It's one body. Okay, with one head. Let's read on. For who have stood in the counsel of the Lord and have perceived and heard his word? Who have marked his word and heard of it? Behold, a whirlwind of the Lord is gone forth in fury, even a grievous whirlwind. It shall fall grievously upon the head of the wickedness. So when you're doing your wickedness and you're up there profaning my God's name and you're up there calling his name in vain, spreading discord among the brethren, spreading lies and lying to them, prophesying of your own heart's lust, he's going to destroy you in a whirlwind. He will, and he will send it a grievous one and scatter you all. You see, there's one thing to leave the Israelite nation, but don't steal from his house. And when I say you're stealing from his house, the children that are born in this nation, they belong to our God. You take them out because of your own wickedness and your own self-righteousness. And you call separation. And you say, these are mine. They're not yours. They belong to our Father. But I tell you, the wickedness of that, of your disloyalty and your non-unification with this nation that you came and you gained so much from, there will be a price to pay for that. Let's read. Behold, a whirlwind of the Lord is gone forth in fury. Verse 20. The anger of the Lord shall not return until he have executed, until he have performed the thought of his heart in the latter days. Ye shall consider it perfectly. It's going to come to the time, oh, I wish I didn't do that. It's too late for you. I wish. My God, I would never have imagined this happened to me. You will, because you discord. There is a great scripture in this nation that we read in the book of Proverbs. And it says, these 6 things the Lord hates, yea, the 7th is an abomination. And that is sowing discord among brethren. That is the non-unity. Because when there's discord, there is weakness. When there's discord, there's every evil work can happen. There'll be malicious lies. There'll be envyings. There'll be murmurings. There'll be murders. There'll be everything contrary to unity. Everything. There's no strength no more because you've broken us up. Now our Father has to work harder to bring us back together again. Bring us back together again and unify us, not only with each other, but with him. Look how long it took the God of Israel to have unity back with man. Look how long. Cain, Adam and Eve, he separated himself, became spirit. Because he can't now deal with you, he can't commune with you. There's no unity, there's no unification, you're not together. He has to now separate and now wait. How many years? How many years? Wait till Seth is born. How many generations passed? There's Seth, okay. Let me work down. Okay, here's Abraham. Let me visit Abraham. Isaac. Jacob. Let me go back. Jacob. Let's surname him. Israel. Look how long he had to wait to have that connection back with us. Look how long. And you want to break it up over spilt milk. Oh, I have not sent these prophets, yet they ran. I have not spoken to them, yet they prophesied. The God of Israel never sent you. All you prophets in the shrines, wherever you are. The God of Israel did not send them. He never sent no prophet. He never sent no pastor. He never sent no priest into you. If you're hearing a priest speak, it's from the Israelite nation, worldwide ministries. That is it. If you're hearing an elder speak, it is from this nation. An officer speak, it's from this nation. But always try the spirit, because many may be with us and come out from us, but they are not of us. Not unified, not together. But if they had stood in my counsel and had caused my people to hear my words, then they should have turned from their evil way and from the evil of their doings. You see, if you had just said, God of Israel, I don't know what's going on, but I'm not going to be the one used to cause disunity in this nation. Hey guys, go and find out for yourself. Don't drive them out with your own heart lust, or take yourself and go. Pastors speaking, lying, profaning to the people, doing exactly what his own children are doing, lying to the people. Lying to the people, man. Every day. You turn on the TV tomorrow morning, you're going to see a whole batch of them. Take your pick. Lying consistently. lies, and you flood them, and you bless them with your voices, and you bless that stinking God Baal. That's who you're worshiping. If you're not the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries, can a man serve two masters? You cannot. It's either you're for the God of Israel or you're with the other one. And if you're not serving the God of Israel, you are with the other one. But make your choice, make your decision, and make it quickly. Because no man knoweth the hour, day, or time where their soul is required. As David said, there's one thing promised to man, we all will go down into the pit. Let's read on. Am I God? Am I a God at hand, saith the Lord, and not a God afar off? You know those people that say, yeah, God is standing with me right now. God spoke to me. Everybody stop. God spoke to me. This is what kind of... You guys need to understand what's happening. Can any hide himself in secret places that I shall not see, saith the Lord? But do not I fill the heaven and earth, saith the Lord? I have heard what the prophets said, that prophesy lies in my name. Say it again. I have heard what the prophets said, that prophesy lies in my name. Say, I have dreamed. I have dreamed. That's the first thing a lot of the people outside, they come in, oh, I had this dream about you. You know. Or they dreamed that they went to heaven. I heard these stories from the liars of the prophets and, you know, the prophets of Baal. I'm going to call them from now on. And they went to heaven. One went to heaven, one went to hell. And one went and was apparently sitting beside Jesus. I don't understand. All these lies, and you believe them. How long shall this be in the heart of the prophets and prophesy lies? Yea, they are prophets of deceit of their own heart, which think to cause my people to forget my name by their dreams, which they tell every man to his neighbor, as their fathers have forgotten my name for Baal. Again, you forget the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob's name for Baal. You forsake his house for Baal. You leave his home for Baal. You take yourself out, I don't want to be there, and you pump up yourself for Baal. You don't worship this God. You are gone. Your unity is not with us. But why are you always betraying us? That's my point. You betray the same people, the same God that delivered you out of your sickness, that delivered you out of your hell, that gave you children, that gave you a house, that gave you a job, that taught you how to speak, that gave you what you needed, and you turn and you worship Baal fully fledged. There's no humility within you. You know why? Because Moses and Aaron fell on their face before the people. You. I like Dathan and Korah. I have no names for you all, but Dathan and Korah is popular. It's good for you. I'll read on. The prophet that hath a dream, let him tell a dream. And he that hath my word, let him speak my word faithfully. What is the chaff to the wheat, saith the Lord? Is not my word like as fire, saith the Lord, and like a hammer that breaketh the rock in pieces? Therefore, behold, I am against the prophet, saith the Lord, that steal my words, even every one from his neighbor. He's against you. Those ones that call themselves Israel, you're not. Those ones that say that you're with us, you're not. Those ones using things that you're not part of us. You're stealing my God's word. Like I said before, you steal from my God's home. And you go out there and you profane and you lie. You are not with us. There has to make a distinction. I'll read on. Therefore, behold, I am against the prophets. Good. Behold, I am against the prophets. Verse 32. I am against them that prophesy false dreams, saith the Lord, and do tell them and cause my people to err by their lies and by their likeness. Yet I sent them not, nor commanded them. Therefore, they shall not profit this people at all, saith the Lord. And I would love to read on. I would love to read on, but I want to go somewhere else. This is what my father is speaking about. This is what Jeremiah, he was speaking about. The charge of Jeremiah to speak unto our people was heavy. The burden, he's calling them. When you read this book, it is about unification. It's about being united. It's about being together. It is about having strength in numbers. We saw when our fathers listened to the instruction of our God, when Joshua listened to the instruction of the God of Israel, and he spake it unto the people. They listened, they follow instruction. There was victory. There was victory. They moved a great city. When they listened to our God, they slew who? Our elder Andrew said it. Oh, King of Bashan. You know what his bed was like? Bigger than this stage. Do you understand the kind of people that we're dealing with? Huh? Oh my gosh. This is serious, serious business. When we speak about the unity, the disruption that comes with betrayal it's embarrassing, I should say. It's embarrassing. I'm trying to find words to describe what it is. It's embarrassing. Every single time, children of Israel betray each other. Every time, Jacob betray each other. Leader goes up, pull him down. Leader goes up, pull him down. Don't let him rise. Who do you think you are? The people of God ought to understand this is not how it ought to be. Our Officer Charmaine laid it out beautifully for you. Beautifully for you. To understand who we are as a people. That we have our leadership and they ought to be respected. When you look upon the leaders of the world, you will bow yourself backwards. When you were in the shrine, I guarantee you, you never ever once mentioned by that pastor or that reverend's name by their first name. They would scold you. And the old granny with the walking stick. They would scold you. You said, you don't say that? That is Reverend so and so. That is Bishop this one and this one, and you love it. But you come to my Father's house to unite yourself, your spirit, with his spirit. You should have understanding, and you completely disrespect those he has put in position over you. How can you now unite as a people to move forward? If Joshua, if the priest did not unite with the priest that was carrying the Ark of the Covenant, those who had the ram's horns, those who were the armor men, and those are people, there would be no Jericho to talk about today. The God of Israel would have killed them all. He would have come down and sent the angel, kill them all. Just save Joshua and maybe another two, and Caleb. Again, unity is important. That is our strength in building this nation. That is how we move the needle forward. I was amazed to see, and in my closing, I was amazed to see that there was this temple. I was driving around and I couldn't believe what I'm seeing. This temple from scratch, and it's being built. And there was a sign, a nice sign, proudly boasting how much has been given, not by the government of Canada, may I just add, but by the people. Do you know how much this temple was being built? Over $10 million. They're building their temple, and they've got the pillars up and they're getting ready for their temple. What about ours, Israel? Where is ours, children of Jacob? Because ours is the true and the living God. David, even King David, what did he do? He left more and more for his son to add, to build the temple of our God. Deck it with everything, spare no expense, get more, and even said to his son Solomon, if you need, add more to this. This has to be splendid so the entire world will know and see who we are as a people. Yet still, the world sees what we did. The world saw what our fathers did. They took it and erected their gods. And now you look in wonder and marvel at this, what they have on display. What a tragedy. What a tragedy. Because of why? Lack of unity. You would find the one, they would go with they're poor. They are poor. But I guarantee you, they would take what little money they made for that week and they will go and donate it to the building of their temple or their shrine or wherever it is. Us, we wouldn't spare it, we wouldn't do it. Too much pride. I don't want to do that. No, I'm doing it. Too much pride with us. We can't spare and say, you know what, let's bind together for the greater good of this nation. Let's build our Father's home, because where there's unity, there is strength. We can move forward. We can pray to our God. He will hear our prayers if we bind together. There's so many scriptures in here to read that we can say how Israel, when they were unified for good and evil. But why evil? Why not good? A man's bringing you peace, but you will betray him just in a moment. Why? For fame, for glory, for money, for recognition, for friendship. So you look cool. Brethren, friends and guests, this is not the way of our fathers. This is not the way in which our elder Shadrach has taught us. This is not the way of any member of the Supreme Council. We love our God. We love our Father, our brethren. We are here, we serve our brethren in spirit, in truth, with the spirit of truth that guides and leads our elders and our leadership in the right direction that we ought to go in unity, unity. And the Spirit always calls out that there is strength with unity. For he said, can two walk together unless they agree? Can two walk together unless they agree? One has to help the other. One looks out for the other. One shelters the other, not betrays the other. And with that, brethren, friends and guests, I hope you have a wonderful day and you continue to learn from our God and this Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries. And with that, I bid you peace.